excited that you could join us. And this is our second of 4 different park spotlights throughout the month. Last week, we were at Meeman Shelby State Park. We had Dr. Chris Cooper being our host. It was a fun visit, and you can watch the recording of that as well. Today, we are at Cedars of Lebanon, and we're continuing our statewide tour throughout the next couple of weeks at Seven Island State Birding Park. Next week, which is outside of Knoxville, so we'll be in East Tennessee, and then we will finish up the month on the 28th, heading into Memorial Day weekend with a visit with our state naturalist, Randy Hedgepath, at Montgomery Bell State Park. A little reminder that I want to share with you as we get started. Now that things are starting to open back up a little bit, especially for outdoor activities, we are excited to say that the Central Region Conference is a go. It is going to be hosted by Warren County this year, and we are going to be meeting on June the 24th. We're going to do a little bit of a hybrid format where we have a morning session that's going to be distance and digital. You'll be able to enjoy it from the comfort of your own home. And then in the afternoon, we are going to have live outdoor tours. We're going to meet at a park in the area where some of the master gardeners there have some projects. And then we're going to have great nursery, fruit, ornamental, shrubs, trees, and perennials in the afternoon. And we're going to finish up the day with our own dedicated Cumberland Caverns tour. And so all that information is on our state website homepage, and of course coming to you in all of our state newsletters over the last few weeks. We're excited today to be at Cedars of Lebanon State Park, and we are just a little bit outside of Lebanon, Tennessee. So in beautiful Middle Tennessee. The park here is over 1,000 acres, and it's been, you know, in park service since the mid-1950s, and of course, keeping with our Friday Forest Focus theme, this is actually a part of the Cedars of Lebanon State Forest, which is a much larger thousands of acres. And what is really unique and amazing about this location is the Glade ecology that is here. And of course, when we talk to Linda, when we talk to Sarah, you'll hear a lot more about that. But the Cedar Glades have a very unique ecology due to their limestone parent material, very shallow or nearly non-existent soils. And in this challenging climate, and there's low moisture, there's of course not very deep soil, high alkalinity level, there are some very unique species. And so this is actually a phrase that I borrowed from Linda Robertson, who you're going to get to meet. There are a lot of endemic species here. So it is an epicenter of endemism in our area, everything from the Tennessee coneflower to Tennessee milkvetch. There's really a lot of unique species that you'll have the opportunity to see when you visit Cedars of Lebanon State Park. As a site with limestone parent material, this is karst topography. So there are a lot of caves in the area, a lot of great opportunity for caving, and the very unique, both, of course, you know, plant species at the park, but also some salamanders and all sorts of things that exist in those cave sites. We also have, not to anybody's surprise, fabulous master gardener collaborations and investments that take place right here at the park. And so this is actually a picture looking at where I'm standing right now. So this is the Nature Center and the Butterfly Garden, and you're going to get a great tour of that coming up. As we kick off our morning, I want to share with you our species of the week, which is, no big surprise, Eastern red cedar. Surprisingly, though, actually it's not a cedar. It is actually a juniper. So Juniperus virginiana, and that is the species that, of course, induced the name of Lebanon, because early settlers thought that it reminded them of cedar trees from the Middle East. Not really the same genus, not actually related, but very much a part of the history of the region way back to when Lebanon was named. So Eastern red cedar is a native conifer, and you can see some of its early and slightly older growth pattern there. It is usually a dioecious species. Here's a picture of a female with berries that are actually small cones a little bit later in the season. Some of the fun things about red cedar is that they are actually have been used historically, even in some landscapes around Middle Tennessee. This is actually Carton Plantation, just a little bit around Middle Tennessee in Williamson County, where the landscape architects there in the mid to late 1800s actually used red cedar as a landscape species in place of Italian cypress. So there's lots of really fun ways that that red cedar both impact, cedar chests, our home as a lumber industry. It's now having both species as well as cultivars that are used in the landscape. This is Taylor, a much more columnar form. So there's lots of times that we might see it in the landscape. But as we end, one final thing that we always want to say about red cedar, eastern red cedar, is that it can have a detrimental impact on your fruit production, right? So it's the alternate host for the fungi that causes cedar apple rust. So that is your species of the week spotlight for today. And with that, I'm going to pass the proverbial microphone over to Rachel, and she's going to kick it off with our special guest here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. So like we said, we are here at Cedars of Lebanon, and we are at the butterfly garden. And with us here, we have Ranger Sarah Geeslin and Miss Linda Robertson, one of our Wilson County Master Gardeners. And we're going to start here with Sarah talking a little bit about our park. So we're going to walk this way really quickly to show off one of the newer things that has been added here. I'm going to let Sarah share about that.
Hi. Like she said, my name is Sarah. I've been at Cedars for about 2.5 years. This is part of our overlook. We also have our new bridge. It's part of our upcoming ADA trail. So that's hopefully to be done maybe this year.
Completed soon.
Completed soon. To be determined. But within Cedars, we've got about maybe 5,000 acres. We did quick math this morning. What used to be the forest on the west side is now part of the park and part of natural areas. So we included Vesta and all that. We also have Sadie Ford Farm, which is across the road, and that is open on weekends right now.
What is the Sadie Ford Farm?
The Sadie Ford Farm is a 1930s and 40s living history farm. So we're kind of focusing on the WPA era, like the park, and we do demonstrations every weekend, whether it's broom making, blacksmithing, or different fiber arts. And so we do sell the brooms as well with our friends group. So
Yes, and share a little bit about where these folks are coming from.
So those folks over there are coming up from our cave. We are the only state park in Tennessee that does not have a body of water above ground. So ours is below ground. And we've got Jackson Cave in this creek bed that leads to the overlook. And it is about a good hour trip in and out, but there's a lake at the end of it. So you can touch it, you just can't go swimming.
Perfect. And let's give a little bit of a look here at this bridge over here now, and share with us a little bit about where this bridge goes.
So this bridge is one of the new installments for our ADA trail. If you've been here before, you used to remember a little wooden bridge that was super rickety to our right. So they replaced it with this one, and it is going to go into the backfield where the Cedar Run Trail loops as well. And that's going to be part of our ADA trail.
Nice.
We just haven't got it paved yet.
Perfect. And of course, if you have never been here before, we are at the Nature Center. So if you come into Cedars of Lebanon State Park, keep going past the Visitor Center, and then you will come to the Nature Center. And right now, I believe it is closed, but inside there's a lot of information about the wildlife that you could see here at this park, especially the birds and different snakes. So if you would like to learn more about that, definitely come on a day that the Nature Center is open. And then behind the Nature Center is the butterfly garden. So we're going to talk with Miss Linda for a little bit about the butterfly garden. So Miss Linda,
Where do we want to get?
so share with us a little bit about what this butterfly garden is and who manages it.
Okay, this is a Master Gardener project, and we've had the project for about 10 years. And we started, the butterfly garden itself was begun about 12 years ago. and it's had several incarnations. It seems to change every year, but now I think that we've got it settled with the establishment of the ADA trail. That'll be a half mile. So the garden is about 95% native plants. And we use Doug Tallamy's philosophy by using the keystone native plants. They're so essential to our breeding birds. These keystone plants provide the caterpillars for breeding birds. We also have the host plants for all the swallowtails, the zebra swallowtail, the spicebush swallowtail, the eastern tiger, and the pipevine swallowtail. And we're standing right here by the pipevine, and we do have some caterpillars on it already, but they're tiny and you really can't see them. So this is a host plant. Also, the wisteria is a host plant for the silver spotted skipper. And the silver spotted skipper, the caterpillar has an interesting essential about it. It can shoot its poop 36 times the length of its body. So that's something that all teenage boys like to share. So anyway, we've got two host plants here. Yeah, and we've got host plants here with the Rudbeckia. Host plants over here. We've got 4 different milkweeds in the garden to support monarchs. This is a swamp milkweed because this is a wet area. We also have the antelope horn milkweed, which is right here. It's still small. And then we have the common milkweed up in the milkweed garden, but we had a groundhog, and the groundhog ate all the milkweeds down to the nubs. And I didn't think anything would eat a milkweed, but a monarch butterfly caterpillar. So what else do we have? We have host plants here with the Baptisia. We have host plants over here. We have our native Tennessee coneflower is right here, but they have been eaten back by the groundhog too. They did capture one very fat groundhog out here just yesterday.
Maybe the plants will survive now.
Yeah, maybe so. This is the butterfly weed. This is another monarch host plant, another milkweed.
So when do the master gardeners come out here and work here in the gardens together?
We come every Monday morning and work a couple hours. And it's been a real dedicated group, and they've done a fantastic job out here. It's been really wonderful.
Perfect. And do you also manage down there with the other things going on? You want to share about
the planters down there?
Yes.
We do. We have some planter boxes, and we're going to put native grasses in there with some other native annuals. And in the garden here, just wanted to share, this is the sunny side of the garden right here. Things bloom through the summer when the groundhog doesn't eat them. We have filled in with a few annuals, so we'd have some color just for y'all today. Phloxes are actually the backbone of the garden, because we have the Glade phlox that blooms starts blooming in April, followed by the Phlox pilosa, followed by the Phlox paniculata, the garden phlox. So and this Phlox pilosa is a magnificent plant because it's versatile. It can grow where it's dry, it can grow where it's damp to wet, and it sun or shade. So it's a wonderful bridge plant in between the spring flowers and the summer flowers, and it's bright and brilliant. You know, it just stands out. And a great combination with that would be the yellow yarrow over there. I think that's moonbeam or sunshine. Anyway, it makes a great combination with the magenta of the phlox. So and then looking on around the garden, you can see where the gazebo is over there. that's really the fall part of the garden, because it has so many. We have like 3 different kinds of perennial sunflowers over there, which are also host plants for butterflies and moths. We have the silphiums over there, and they grow very tall, so that that area gets very tall in the fall. What else do we have? Another plant that is wonderful out here is the and is really unusual, the Indian pink. It's Spigelia marylandica. We have a nice stand of that. And you want to, it's over there, but I don't know if you want to see that or not. But anyway.
Oh yeah, we can go there.
You want to go there? If you want to go there, we'll go there. You can see it's getting ready to bloom right here. It's kind of an unusual plant. It's a little hard to start. You know, not many people carry it, but it's a beautiful, unusual garden plant.
Oh, we got a question. What was the name of the very versatile phlox that you mentioned?
Phlox pilosa. We also have the goldenrods right here. The fireworks goldenrod works really well in our garden because it has a beautiful display, and it does form stolons and spreads, but not as rapidly as the one you see out in the fields that will overtake just almost anything. What else? We have the Joe Pye weeds, which are another great butterfly and moth host plant. So anyway, we're about 95% native plant here.
So share a little bit about the different trails where they could see these flowers here.
See the flowers here.
So the one by the visitor center,
yeah,
and the signage that's up there. So even if you
right.
don't know all these names, they have some signs that are great with photos and the names themselves. So I always snap a picture of that before I hit the trail and walk around and look at them so that I can remember what these are. So you want to share about those trails for a second?
Well, the one by the office is mostly glade plants. You know, here in the garden, it's a little more versatile. We've amended the soil in some areas, especially this is the shaded area is for our spring ephemerals up here. So, you know, you won't find those plants out in the glades. So there are a few more unusual plants, or plants you might find in the mountains or in other ecosystems.
So what is a glade? You want to talk about that for a second?
A glade is Lebanon is located on top of the Lebanon limestone. And we have glades that some are just slick limestone. And then the shallow, the soil is very shallow around the edges, and it builds up. They have, I think, 6 zones they've named, and different plants occur in each zone. We have 14 endemic plants that grow in those zones, and those endemic plants don't grow anyplace else in the world other than in our glades. That's why our glades are globally significant. And we really want people to come out and see these glades, see them in bloom, especially in the springtime with the natural breadroot, the glade phlox, and the Verbena canadensis. It's stunning. The hoary cocoon, it is stunning. And if people will come out and see these glades, maybe we can preserve more of them, because it's very, very special ecosystem here that we have.
So I know it's not blooming right now, but the story about the Tennessee coneflower actually being like delisted is one of my favorite kind of conservation stories. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Well, Elsie Quarterman was doing her research back in when was it? Oh, I don't remember exactly when it was. 70s? I think it was the 70s. Yeah. And she discovered the Tennessee coneflower out in the glades around here. So Vanderbilt became interested in our glades, and people in her department started doing a lot of research.
Mhm.
So they found, I think they found maybe 2 populations of the coneflower.
Mhm.
And since then they've been expanded. Now, I think to be delisted, you have to have 5 good populations. So in the end of the 70s, I don't remember the year it was delisted. Well, it was, no, it was just about 5 years
I was going to
ago.
say, it's not that long ago. I
No,
don't
it was
think.
just about 5 years ago they delisted the Tennessee coneflower, Echinacea tennesseeensis.
Came off the it came off the National Endangered Species list,
Oh.
large due to conservation efforts like
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
And where could they see that and when?
Oh, the Tennessee coneflower starts blooming the end of May, the 1st of June, and will bloom for about 3 months. But the coneflowers, you know, they don't like a lot of competition because out in the glades, it's very dry and rocky. They don't have any competition because not many things can grow there.
Mhm.
So if you do use them in your yard, you have to make sure that other plants don't overgrow them. They, you know, they do fine in good soil, but other plants will have such big leaves and all, they do get overgrown.
Perfect. Do you want to share about how you became interested in native plants?
The same way you did. Just being out in nature and hiking, you notice plants and it takes your breath away, really.
Mhm.
You see these things growing and it just, I wanted my yard to be that way. And so I've worked hard to use native plants in my yard. And then when I found out how beautiful the glades were. I thought the glades were absolutely the ugliest, nastiest place.
Adjacent to the Barrens,
Yeah.
right? If there's
Yeah.
not a beautiful sounding name like that.
Right. Yeah. I just thought they were terrible. We came out here in August, hot,
Yeah.
dry, prickly. I thought,
Mosquitoes.
yeah, why would anybody make a state park in this terrible place? But I came out around Easter time and I was just taken aback. It
Yeah.
was so beautiful. So, and since then, got interested in the glades, got interested in the park, and that's when we started the original butterfly garden. It was one little bed right in the middle over there, and now it's expanded to all this area, and it keeps expanding.
Because you keep growing more
Yeah.
plants.
Right, yeah, right. I do grow a lot of the plants for the butterfly garden,
Yes.
and we are going to have a plant sale, a native plant sale out here next Saturday, May 22nd, from 9 to 2. And would like everybody to come and buy plants.
Yes. And while
And
they're here,
It'll be at the assembly hall right across the field. there.
right here. Yes,
Yeah.
it's right here. So you can come and see the butterfly garden while you're here. Go and see the overlook, which might be something on your Goose Chase app. So you could definitely hit a lot of things up while you're here.
Right.
Plant sale, see a beautiful garden, go get some things on your Goose Chase done. So I would definitely encourage you all to come out.
You want to go see some shade?
Yes.
Flowers. I think there's some
Okay.
celandine poppy blooming up there. I'm a Tiarella fan
Oh,
myself.
right. Yeah, some of our tiarellas have gotten shaded out when the poppies grew so much. They're so big. But we have all this as a shade area. We've got turtle heads and celandine poppies. And this is a beautiful plant. It is the purple phacelia. It's a biennial, so but it forms just masses of beautiful blooms in the springtime every other year. The groundhog also ate a lot of our spring ephemeral, so we are going to we're going to redo this bed. And I want to say this grass right here is a beautiful grass. It's called river oats or spangle grass, but do not use it any place you don't want it to spread. So it's wonderful if you have a riverbank or a place where you can just let it go, but do not use that. Also, do not use golden Alexander if you don't want it to spread. It is also a beautiful plant. You can see the blossom on it right here. But I have to deadhead all those to get the seed heads off, so it can get out of control. But it's a wonderful plant for the right place. So we back behind the rock, we've got other shade loving plants, the black cohosh and the goat's beard. And we're trying to let Mother Nature take over. We're trying to put in the plants we want to be there and trying to get out the weeds.
And talk about that a little bit. So a lot of people, when they put in, you know, a native plant garden, they might think it's going to look exactly like other flowers, you know, but there will be competition from other things that have moved in, such as weeds. So
Right.
how do you deal with that?
Well, we do weed some, but we're trying to cover the ground with the plants that we do want there. So there will be less competition from the weeds. What
You
else?
want to show the fire pink?
The fire pink is down there. This is one of Rachel's favorite plants, but it's getting a little bit overgrown. Oops. Do a little weeding while we're here. It's beautiful. It's Silene virginica, and it's a great plant, but it is also one that needs its own space because it's easily overgrown by other things.
And of course, we've got our columbine.
Yes, our native columbine, beautiful plant. We also have, well, there's so many plants, I could bore you to death talking about all the plants. I'm not sure everybody wants to know about that. We do have a lot of the woody plants here. This is a oak leaf hydrangea getting ready to bloom. We have our native arborescens, hydrangea arborescens over there. Another good combination is that with the Jacob Klein bee balm, because they bloom at the same time. Here you can see, these are interesting because you see those big fat swollen pods are from the celandine poppy, and they have their seeds are hydrophilic. So just as soon as this seed pod is ready to pop, you've got to get those seeds in the ground, hydrophilic. We have various other phloxes in here, wild geraniums. This has just been gorgeous. Most people think that's a weed. That's the lyre-leaf sage. What else? We've got bluebells, Virginia bluebells in here, lady ferns and ostrich fern and Christmas fern, and these beautiful little tiarella that are so pretty. It's a foam flower. And of course, here's our little wild iris, our dwarf crested iris. Got bloodroot right here.
This area is packed with plants. So when did you put this area in?
Last spring. So this is only its second year, and it's done very well.
I love it because as soon as you start walking down this pathway, you start seeing all of them, and like all good master gardener gardens, they are labeled.
Yeah, we're trying to keep everything labeled. It's a real challenge because as plants grow, then you have to keep moving the labels. Some go dormant, and so it's a challenge to keep everything labeled. But I do see lots of people reading the labels. So this, a lot of people think is a weed. That's an erigeron, but it is it's also on Doug Talamy's list as a keystone plant.
This is along the ADA path too.
Yeah, this is part of the ADA trail.
Continue.
So this is definitely nice because it is a paved pathway here where they can see these plants, they can identify them, and then again, continue on down. So I love seeing all the little kids that come out here because with their parents, because the parents don't feel like they're, in the middle of the woods, in a more controlled environment, I guess. So this is a great area to bring your family, come on out here, have a picnic and just learn about all of our native plants. So I think some people get overwhelmed as well with all the different names and things like that, but you will learn them as you continually see them and read the names. So on our wildflower walks, I remember some of them saying, "How do you know that?" the very first day. And I said, because I have heard Miss Linda say it over and over and over again.
Right.
So that's just how you learn, just continually getting out here.
And work, you come to work, come to volunteer. The best way to learn a plant is to use it and to propagate it and to use it in your garden. This is our rusty black haw viburnum right here, and it's a beautiful plant because it has these lovely clusters of blossoms in the spring for pollinators, and then it will have a beautiful, delicious berry for birds in the fall and winter. So we try to provide for butterflies, moths, pollinators, and birds all here. Here's a dogwood tree that's different. This is the, it also has clusters of flowers in the spring. It is the cornus. Which one is it? Drumondia amomum, I believe it is. It has blackberries or blueberries. It does not have the white berries. But anyway, it's another host plant. But sawflies get after dogwoods. Have you ever seen the dogwood sawfly?
Yes.
Yeah, they actually ate up the leaves on some of our dogwoods last year.
So real quick again, do you want to share about the native plant sale, when it is, what time?
I do. It is next Saturday, May 22nd, from 9 to 2. And it will be here at the park in the assembly hall. It will be inside, so it'll be rain or shine. And we have over 80 species, probably close to 100, because we will have a few trees also that are not listed as yet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Sarah, do you want to share about when the Nature Center opens and just a little bit more about how they can come and check out this park?
So we're open sunrise till 10 p.m. The Nature Center will be open Memorial Day weekend, so that Friday, can't think of the date, but that the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, it will be open. We'll have programs going on all summer. Our campground will be open. Cabins are open. Everything's fully open. So come out and visit us.
Yes, thank you so much. And now we'll hand it back to Natalie to finish up.
All right. Thanks so much to Linda and Sarah and the whole crew here. As our final piece today, we are actually going to let our Goose Chase aficionados tell you about some of the fun things that you have to do this week in Goose Chase and give you a little bit of a recap of who some of our leaders are at this moment. So Celeste, Evangeline, what do you guys have for us today?
Hey, yes. So thank you. I loved that tour. I went to school at MTSU and used to go to the Glades all the time. And it was nice to see all the new things that they have going on there. And I can't wait until I can go visit again. So if you haven't joined Goose Chase yet, I want to encourage you to do so. I've had so much positive feedback from folks who are just having a blast, having a great time participating in the fun. So if you haven't gotten on that app yet, there are some very simple, straightforward directions on our Hit the Trails website. And I know that Natalie, we can share that. It's a tiny link, right? So maybe we need to put it in the chat box. So if you're not signed up on that already, go to the website, go to the tab at the top right-hand corner that says Goose Chase. And there are some step-by-step instructions. It gives screenshots of what it looks like as you go through. Very simple and easy to follow. So be sure to join on. I'm going to share my screen. I'm on my phone with you guys. Let's see. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to our Goose Chase app and see how things are going. So hopefully everyone has gotten done with all their practice challenges, and I hope that your completed list is much longer than mine. You see, I have not been getting very busy on my example profile here that I created, so I'm going to do some catching up this weekend. But we reorganized these so that they appear in order of points rankings. So of course, all the 10-point challenges, we tried to make those pretty simple, easy for anybody to accomplish, no matter what part of the state they're in. And then if we scroll down a bit, we get into some of these that are worth a few more points, 15 points. These are short video challenges. It's really no more difficult than it is to do the camera, picture challenge. But for sure, have fun taking some videos and getting out there in nature and learning how to do that. Then we move on up to some 20-point challenges, and these become even more fun because they're interactive. These involve you and someone else, whether that's a new friend, people in your family. We have some great challenges that involve other master gardeners, extension agents, and many of these you'll see in the description can either be done in a state park, a natural area, or a master gardener project. So if y'all are out this weekend working on a project, get out there and take some of these short video challenges. That'll be a great way to get a few points under your belt. Then we move on up. We have some destination challenges, and these are, we're introducing these each Friday morning, and they feature whatever park we are kind of spotlighting on our Friday Forest Focus. So today's newest challenge that should have appeared on your feed dashboard, be quiet, I can't hear, is the destination challenge for Cedars of Lebanon State Park. And this is just a simple GPS location check-in. So you get to the park and check in, and you have that one under your belt as well. Let's see. And then, of course, these regional challenges, and we're going to be trying to give some hints. Probably we'll start giving some hints on these into this week. These might be a little more difficult. You might be, trying to think of, well, where could I go? What state park near me, might I be able to achieve some of these challenges at? And if you heard Rachel, she mentioned that the overlook could accomplish some of your picture challenges for you today, that new overlook there that they have at the Cedars of Lebanon. So definitely that would satisfy some challenge that we have listed here already. So let's look on rankings and kind of see how everybody's doing. We've got lots of folks signed up. I'm trying to make my way up to the top. We have a lot of people who are tied. You see all these tied for 9th, tied for 8th, tied for 5th. Oh, we get all the way up first. Miss Sarah Wade. She is in the lead with 445 points. And a close second is not sure who it is, but their username is Honest Aim. So we've got a lot of folks who are way up there in the points rankings. And even, it is a fun little friendly competition. But even if you aren't trying to,
a fun little friendly competition that I ordered prizes for yesterday. I just want to throw that in.
Really? Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Yeah, I want you to be your last picture of the day. Come out and see some of the great native plants and ecology of the Cedar Glades, and visit Cedars of Lebanon State Park or some of the parks in your area. We are closing up for today, but remember, we recorded this, so you'll be able to come back and look at this, share it with all your friends. And next Friday morning, we will be live at the Seven Islands Birding Park. So of course, we'll talk about plants, we always do, but we're going to throw in some information as well as bird information and a lot of fun stuff from some of our other wildlife species. So thanks so much for joining in with us in this Hit the Trails month. We hope that you